In my opinion, the best way for you to review is going to be doing past papers and then reflecting upon the parts you've done wrong and the parts you've done right, and then
I am duly sorry for being late.
Capture my dog. We are going to be talking about how do you prep for the TSA Thinking Skills Assessment in this video. I've received so many questions on how I prep for the TSA, and honestly, it's not that difficult a process. This video will probably be one of the shorter ones I have done. So, my creds. I was accepted to Oxford PPE, which is Philosophy, Politics, and Economics major. So there are a few prerequisites. One, you have to pass their UCAS personal statement, and then you also have to get top 30% in the world on the TSA exam, which stands for the Thinking Skills Assessment. It's not just used for PPE, it's also used for economics and management, philosophy courses. Applicants for history, chemistry, and economics are not required to do the writing tasks. So there are two parts. There's section 1 and section 2. Section 1 tests problem-solving skills, numerical, spatial reasoning, critical thinking skills, including understanding argument, and reasoning using everyday language. There are 50 multiple choice questions and you have 90 minutes for it. And then there's a section 2 writing task. And it tests the ability to organize ideas in a clear and concise manner and communicate them effectively. 30 minutes, 1 essay question choice from 4. I prepped for the TSA for maybe 2-3 days, so I got really lucky, and I also think it's because I prepped correctly. Now, I read up like some tips and tricks. I didn't find all of that really useful. If you want to buy like the books, if it gives you more security when you do like an actual assessment book, go ahead, be my guest. But in my opinion, it's absolutely not necessary. So how did I prepare for the TSA is actually super simple. All I did was do past questions. Not like, mass do them, but rather I did a past paper and then I stopped and I reflected. I went over each question. How did I get this wrong? Why did I get this wrong? And how do I improve it? And like, what were your target areas? So I briefly separated the multiple choice questions into a few different kinds. I remember a couple of them, the logical fallacies one, which were fun, but they took up a lot of time. And also the math questions were slightly challenging. In my opinion, the best way for you to review is going to be doing past papers and then reflecting upon the parts you've done wrong and the parts you've done right, and then going and doing more papers. The timing is going to be pretty difficult. I have never exceeded the time when I was doing mocks. Excuse me, there's a sneeze coming up. It's gone. Timing. When I was doing mocks, I did about maybe 6 full practice length papers, which takes up more time than you would imagine. And I never went out of the 90 minutes for the 50 multiple choice questions. My timing was always immaculate, but for the actual exam, I had to guess the last 5 questions because timing was really short. I will not just chalk it down to nerves, even though I think there's like a 60-70% chance that it was just nerves, but I also think the questions were objectively just more difficult. So they test you on problem solving and logic skills, primarily logic skills. You need to be able to read fast. You have to read the question quickly. Now, my number 1 tip for you when doing the multiple choice test and how do you do it quickly is to annotate the bloody question. Annotate the bloody question. This is a lot more intense than what it sounds like. So you have a question, underline what you think is important, circle it. Even if you don't think it's important, underline it. Why? Because when you mark up the question and then when you go back to it, you mark up the keywords such as, let me just give you an example. Let me take the 2016 paper. Just take a look at how long, this is one question. Where is this? Sorry, baby. This is one question, like this. Yeah, that's how much, that's one question. So 50 of these. Some of them are provided math and some of them are pretty easy, but they're pretty long. So what you need to do is you need to group the sentences together. We need to accept flooding as a regular occurrence in the UK. What's that? Topic sentence. Statistics show all of that. So what I would do is I would circle up all of the things that what the statistics actually show, and then I would underline the analytical sentences after the statistics that claims that this is the relationship. And then do that, like block off that block of text into this is statistics, this is their analysis, this is their logical parts, etc. Now, I would always, this is my number 2 largest tip. The first tip is to annotate. Second tip is to read the question first. So for this long ass question here, read this smaller question directly. This says, which one of the following best expresses the main conclusion of the argument in the above passage? Read this before you read this whole thing. Yeah, the question will always be at the very end. Read this before you read the whole thing. So once I know, I'm looking for the main conclusion of the argument, and then I go back and very quickly scan it. What's the first thing that comes into my mind? Hold it in your mind and then go look at the answer choices. There are 5 answer choices, so that's, one more than usual. Now, I'm gonna say something quite controversial, which is my 3rd tip, is that elimination is not always the best method. Why? Because it takes up time. You have to consider all 5 options and then pick the best out of it. That's just difficult. So what I usually do is I'll look at the actual question, read, so for example, if it's a main conclusion question, I'll keep, the first thing in my mind, I'll look at the answer choices, I'll circle the first thing that I think is correct, like instinctively what I think is correct, and then I'll mark that question with a circle and then move on to the next one when I have time, and then I'll go back to come look at it. Why do I do this? Because I know that I'm relatively better at main conclusion questions. What I am bad at, or what I need more time to do, would be these. I love doing these, but they take up so much time. So this would be question 3 on the same exam. This whole bloody block is one. Like, can you see this is one question? So this question is, which one of the following best expresses the flaw in the above argument? Now this one, I think, would have to use elimination. Some of them will be pretty easy, just eliminate, cross, cross, cross. If you're down to 2 answers, read the question again, and then try to substitute the flaw into the actual question, and then do it. Yeah. So when I say do past papers, this is what I mean. Go over each question, figure out ways to advance it, and then do another practice paper. Always time yourself. Never have the answer beside you and then have your questions and then look at the question, think. I think it's A, might be C. Peep at the answers, oh, it's A. I would have picked A. It's not gonna work, my darling. Honestly, it's just gonna breed that dangerous mindset that, oh, I can do this, when no, you looked at the answers. You're in a relaxed environment. You need to factor all of these things in. So what me and my friends did, or rather just like me and one other friend, we just did it online. So what we ended up doing is I would tell her, today I'm going to finish 2016 and 2015 past papers. And she was going to finish 2016, 2015 as well. So after we finished, we would compare our scores, and we actually had this Excel sheet where we have our scores every day and we would share it. Why do we do this? 1, make sure that we actually are doing the past papers. It's a lot of commitment because I had to prep for this while I was prepping for school, like I was doing college apps for school. So I didn't have a lot of time for the TSA. It was not high on my priorities list. So I just did a practice paper, I did 2 or 3 in a day, so it only took me 2 days, but do 1 per day if you have more time. Don't spend too much time on this as well. If you're doing college apps, this should take up very little of your time. However, if Oxford is your major focus, or it's your only, or UCAS is your only focus, then just do more past papers. I have a ton of past papers. I have everything from 2008 to 2016, as well as some specimen papers. I have the actual papers and I have the answer key. Now, I don't know if I should link them all down below because I didn't get them as links, I have them as PDFs. If you want these files, let me know. All you have to do to get them is subscribe, share this video with another friend if you want to, who want these files, and I'll send all of them to you. However, if you don't want to subscribe, and you also don't want to like this video, if it was absolutely not useful to you at all, you can also find them online. Just go search up TSA past papers. I believe there's this website that has them, but I don't remember. I remember one had more past papers, but then it got shot down. And then there should be another more official website with a couple of sample papers. But if you want these, just shoot me a message, subscribe, and I'll send them all to you. Yeah, even if you don't subscribe and you send me a message, I'll probably send them to you too. Yeah, those are my top 3 tips for TSA prepping. Honestly, as I said, it's a very simple procedure. I got, I think, top 20 or top 15% of the world because they show you the bell curve and they show you your results, right? So I was pretty happy with my results. 1, because I crossed the threshold, and 2, because I prepped for it for 2 days. So I was pretty happy with that. Yeah. If you have questions, shoot them down below. If not, you can check out these other videos and subscribe. We would both appreciate it if you would subscribe. Appreciate should be 3 syllables. There's a reason why I don't write haikus. Love my YouTuber setup. Qualified.